Video games can be pretty scary sometimes. But who cares? What makes this interesting is that there is many different ways that you can describe something as scary. Like look at Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid 1. That I would call freaky, which is different from Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. Old mate there is menacing, which is also different from the twin victims from Silent Hill, who are, frankly, horrible to look at, and I would not want to encounter them outside the context of a heavily armed gun range. And even then, I'd probably still just opt to shoot myself.
But what about the feeling of being unnerved, uncentered, uncomfortable? That sensation where you know for certain that something is wrong, but you just quite cannot place your finger on it. That's what I want to explore today, and I want to explore one game and how it uses two in-game techniques to make us feel that way.
Let's talk Majora's Mask, and how it makes the happy mask salesman so unnerving.
They say that first impressions are everything. Within about 3 seconds, you can probably understand that I'm in some type of forest right now. Within about 2 seconds, you can probably realize that this creepy-ass red mannequin head made out of glass does not belong here, and probably makes me less okay with being in said forest. And within about half that time, we can all probably understand that the happy mask salesman is dodgy as shit, and I would not want him going anywhere without a tracking bracelet around his ankle.
See, comparative to the rest of Majora's Masks, the happy mask salesman immediately exists as an uncanny visual outlier. From his appearance alone, something visceral inside me just goes, nuh-uh. Because visually speaking, I really don't think there's much I can relate him back to in terms of the rest of the game. He's not so physically monstrous like a re-dead to where I can identify immediately. Yep, that's an enemy, probably time to unload the Hylian clip on this one. But I also sure as hell don't feel comfortable calling him a friendly NPC either. Maybe it's the jagged, unsettling smile etched down his face. Also could be the freaky collection of masks he keeps on display. Bro, nobody is buying that one, I promise. Or, I don't know. Maybe it's just because nobody that I consider to be my friend animates in fucking jump cuts. Or, actually, anyone else really. He's the only person that does that. Freak.
So, much like my red friend here, the happy mask salesman exists with a thick and unmistakable aura of visual dissonance around him, which not only works because we have nothing to relate him back to in terms of the rest of the game, but more importantly gets us asking questions. For instance, here's a question.
Where the hell am I?
JK, I'm actually at a train station, so that bit's kind of ruined now. But, funnily enough, the opposite is also true for the happy mask salesman. As in, the reason why schizophrenic Tom Holland over here succeeds at unnerving us is because, unlike my unambiguous and frankly unimportant train station, he has a high level of contextual relevancy contrasted to a low level of context.
Simply put, in Majora's Mask, he is one of the most important characters in the game. Without his actions, there would be no mask to steal, no Song of Healing, no way to save Termina, no video topic for this month, goddamn!
Nothing.
Now, what's so important about this all was that for each of his actions, the gap between his in-universe importance and just how little we actually know about him grows. It is so much to progress the plot of the game, but for each time he mentions Freak Jorah's mask, or for each time he rattles our protagonist,
I just want to shake some sense into you.
in no way do we actually get a clearer picture of anything about him. How does he know about Majora's Mask and its ancient powers? How does he seemingly know so much about Link? What great lengths did he go to obtain this piece of shit? How does he just disappear into thin air by the end of the game? Bro literally fits an entire church organ up his ass, like, what the fuck, man? For each action he takes and for every time we encounter him, there begins to exist this uncanny middle ground between his in-game relevance and just how little we actually know about him. It's a lot like being in the dark. With nothing for us to process, our brains are free to run rampant and create whatever monstrosity we want. turn on the lights, and suddenly, it's a whole lot less interesting. It is that middle ground of ambiguity that exists with the happy mask salesman that actively makes him so compelling. Now, if the game just flat out told us, yeah, he's an old spirit or member of a long forgotten tribe or fucking the fourth member of the Blue Man Group, I don't actually give a shit, a lot of the aura around him would just instantly be gone. I'd have context, but at the cost of making him actively a lot less interesting.
And that's why after all these years we're still talking about him. And that's why after all these years we're still making theory videos about him. And that's why after all these years we're still making DeviantArt profile pictures of him with a massive dump truck. And that's why after all these years I'm still looking over my shoulder oh my god. Okay, we're alright for now. It's because he's an unnerving, uncomfortable little twat. And he would not be such an unnerving, uncomfortable little twat if he wasn't such an aesthetic outlier, and if he didn't exist with such a cloud of dark, shut the fuck up, such a dark cloud of ambiguity around him. It's what makes him so interesting. He's a pretty cool character. Anyway, apologies for the wind. I'm like, just actually right next to the ocean right now. Shit's crazy. Go gadget, my hand is now forever an entity.